Hello and welcome to Twin Creeks Farms. Right now we're just feeding bottle calves, but today we'll be going out to check on all the different crops and to see how they're faring with all the dry weather. We're supposed to get a bunch of rain today, but so far it all just kind of manages to go around us. But we'll see what state our sweet corn, our oats and peas, and our oats are in, as well as have a look at what second cut might be looking like, to gauge our feed situation for the winter and to see kind of what our calendar is going to look like the next few weeks. So we're checking on our oats and peas here at the rented field up the road, and it's what I was worried about was all our peas are, they're short and I figured they would be, but they're all starting to burn. And they will come back if we get some rain, but it'll be from a new stem at the ground. Oh, and it looks like the oats are headed out and they're blooming. And there is a little bit of peas on there. So we are going to have to cut it and try to make something out of it. Again, it's thin. It's 18 inches tall and kind of the better spots. We'll be scrounging to make hay out of this. Especially we didn't have time to pick stones, so we'll have to stay up a few inches. It's gonna be a rough go. Looking at our oats that are on there, like some of them seem like they're starting to bloom and there's just no volume or anything. Like there's just nothing there. And with the weird weather like these, the oats could probably go another week or two before they'd need to go, but the peas being in bloom and starting to put out pods, they have to come off. So actually this bit of the field, and I don't, so there's maybe patches that aren't absolutely terrible. Very small patches. If it was all like this, nice and kind of hip high, then I think we'd be making all right hay out of the field. And it's still green. This must just be where the water settles a little slightly better. But that's just, there's kind of a patch here and then it goes back to yellow and short and terrible. And now the trick will be now that we're at this stage, the forecast for the next week is kind of a decent chance of rain a lot of days, so it'll be hard to even get this off. So we might end up with an issue where it gets too mature on us. So it'll be awful and dry like this, but too mature. So it'll be not ideal. Not halfway close to ideal. If it was all like this, we'd be laughing belly high. But this is just kind of a lower, wetter edge before it gets into a swampy area. I don't think we'll have too many acres of this. And we're back at the farm. The oats here are more mature. They were planted about 3 weeks earlier than the ones with the oats and peas. And so just check here. If we squeeze them, if they're in the milk stage, a little bit of, oh yeah, just white comes right out of them. So pretty thoroughly in the milk stage. So once that doesn't come out anymore, then we're in the dough, and after that it's just ripening left. But it's being so dry that the oats even here are starting to burn. The leaves are going yellow, and that's not because it shouldn't be like that because it's ripening. It's like that because it's burning like your lawn is. So we'll see. At least these heads seem to be kind of a decent size and are full of milk. So maybe we'll get an okay yield. We still got to get the combine going. So we'll have maybe a couple weeks before we need that. But then looking at the forecast for our oats and peas, looking like maybe if we can get them cut Monday, if we can find somebody to bale them Tuesday, then because we'll get someone with the silage special to bale that for us, then we can get them off, and hopefully we get some rain that we can get a second cutting there. Yep, we're still dusty and dry. Got about 3/4 of an acre of sweet corn planted here. It was just an old lane that accidentally got worked up by the renter last year. Bit of a misunderstanding, so decided since it was worked up we'd try to make the most of it. So we were trying to get 3 different crops through here, which didn't really work out. We tried to get in nice and early to broadcast and then harrow in some oats and peas, and then let them grow for, what were we thinking, about 6 weeks before we had cut them and to get the corn in time. And it just worked out that the spring was so cold and late, and then fairly dry after that, so it never really amounted to anything. So we just had to kind of till it under and start over with the sweet corn was what was in the rotation after that. So we didn't get anything out of there, which wasn't a big loss because it's only 3/4 of an acre. Deer flies are crazy. So we got the sweet corn here. We got pretty good germination, but not a ton of height yet. We're only probably 2 feet tall. So, you know, any amount of rain would go a long way to helping out the corn. I'm not too worried about it yet. It's I think we'll be okay. But then the plan for after we get the corn off is we'll cut the stalks and feed them to the beef cows. And then we're hoping to be able to then get another rotation of maybe oats and turnips, or maybe oats and peas again after that, once we get into some cooler weather to feed to the cows there. We're just kind of experimenting a little bit with some intensive rotations to see how much feed we can generate on as little acreage as possible. So far, not a great result. Again, it's partially the spring that we had, and then this was maybe not the best area to try it. There's no tile drainage here, and it's kind of all rock in the bush and behind there, and so all the water runs off, and it was really, in the first bit of the spring, it was pretty wet here, so it was difficult to get in as early as we maybe could have some other places. So, I don't know, we'll keep trying and tinkering with it. It's a small area like this, it doesn't, it's not too costly when it goes wrong. But we have 3 acres of, or 3/4 of an acre of corn here, which worked out to, I think, 22,000, something in the neighborhood of 22,000 plants. So, well, it's 22,000 seeds. I'm not sure how many plants we'll get, but we're hoping for, you know, something in the neighborhood of 15 to 18,000 cobs of corn. But we'll see. We'll have a walk through. So far, it doesn't look too bad, though. So there's a decent number of weeds coming up through here. I was thinking we'd bring the tiller maybe through to clean it up, but I think that might be a little tight. The tiller would fit, I'd just be worried about chopping up too many of the leaves even. But you can see here some of there's a pea. We're seeing some in bloom. Over there, there's one that's maybe close to 2 feet tall in bloom. So yeah, we're over knee high, maybe halfway between my knee and my hip. But some peas, there's some oats there with some milkweed. I was worried the weeds might be even a little worse than this, but it's not too bad. I thought the corn might be a little spikier than this, but it doesn't look too upset either. Maybe just that very fine misting that we've got so far this morning. Maybe it's been a little bit receptive to that. Some milkweed, fair bit of milkweed. There was a lot of milkweed in here before it got worked up. But hopefully mid-August we'll be harvesting lots of corn. We'll definitely need some rain before then to make it happen. But in terms of number of plants and their health, though, they look all right. It'd just be nice if they were maybe a foot taller. Conclude our video with our hay field. This is where we got our a little over 17 acres. We cut our first cut from. And if you look, so across the creek where those trees are, that's rented out to a cash cropper, and he seeded that field down last year, so it's got lots of alfalfa in it. Whereas this side, I don't know, it's probably been 8 years since it was seeded down, so there's not very much alfalfa left here. So you can see over there it's coming back and it's green because the legumes they'll more or less grow. The alfalfa and the clover, when it's dry, it won't grow very well, but they'll grow. Whereas the grass, it never really comes back great for a second cutting. But with how dry it is, you can compare the two sides of the creek and see the difference. He's putting a fair bit of fertilizer to his field as well. It's just not worth it for us. So we'll see. I mean, if it stays this dry and we get almost no rain this week, then any sort of second cut might be a write-off. But if we can get an inch or two, then you know, we might have the moisture in the ground to actually make some hay. If I can get a couple hundred bales off of this field, then that's kind of about as much as I can hope for. That'll be 5 weeks from now, but if we don't get any rain, it won't matter. So that's kind of the state of the farm. We've been really dry. We didn't have a ton of snow over the winter, enough but not a crazy amount, so we probably didn't start with the moisture that you normally would in the ground on an average year. And then even, you know, once the snow was gone, we were pretty dry right from the get-go. You know, you'd maybe get a meaningful rain every couple weeks. Even all around us, we're pretty close to the Otto River. Across the rivers, they've gotten some. We're kind of between the Otto River and the Trans-Canada, the 417. Even the other side of the highway, some storms have come through and they've got pretty good rain. It's just kind of this corridor has been fairly dry, so I'd say it's been two weeks ago, across 2 days, we got about ½ inch of rain, and then a week before that, I think we got about 1 inch of rain. So we had probably in 3.5 weeks, we probably had 1.5 inches of rain, and just hot. We were between 30 and 35 most of this past week. Probably mostly 30s the week before that. So everything was just sucked. So we were hoping to have extra feed to put into cattle this winter. And maybe pick up some cheaper cattle, and you know, the cattle might be cheap, but I don't know if we'll have any feed to make that happen. So a lot of it will just go to what we have. Thankfully it's starting to mist now, but we'll see what happens. But if you enjoyed this depressing content, please subscribe and like the video. And we have a little calf. We have 2 calves actually that don't have names yet. The rest have been named. So in this video I'll show you the picture of one of the calves, and just if you comment below some name suggestions. I don't think we've had any luck coming up with anything yet. So let us know what you think.